Hello and welcome to the Dare to Differentiate show. The purpose of the show is to help you own your voice, value, and visibility so that you advance your career. Whether you're tuning in live or watching the replay, I am so delighted that you're here. Type in the comment to say hello and let me know where you are tuning in from. If you've been a longtime supporter, type in big fan. I want to welcome you back. If you are new to my channel, to the show, I want to welcome you here as well. Type in new. I know in the last 24 hours, I've gained hundreds of followers on LinkedIn after being named LinkedIn Top Voice. So I am so honored and thrilled and delighted to be recognized for that. And thank you so much for many of you for following me. And so if you're new here, I've been running this live stream Dare to Differentiate show for over a year now. So it all started in December 2020 when I had this urge to really give back to help job seekers. And so I decided to run a career relaunch summit in 3 weeks where I invited 20 speakers and I interviewed them over 2 days. Over 2 days and plan with only 3 weeks of planning. And it was a huge success. And it really got me hooked on running live streams because I have a huge value for human connection. And the reason why I run these shows is I want to have a deeper human connection and to really be able to have this conversation and to inspire you and motivate you, empower you to reach your full potential. So I see many of you saying hello, hello. Thank you so much for being here. So I'm your host, Diana YK Chan, founder of My Markability, where I help you stand out, get hired, and earn more. So speaking of helping people get hired and earn more, I want to share some quick success stories of my client wins this month that I'm super proud of. One of them is my recent client who I just started working last year, just before the Christmas holiday, so just about a month ago. And she decided to resign from her job, quit from her job, to be part of this whole great resignation there. And we worked together just before the holidays. And just last week, she landed a new opportunity where she is pivoting from a director of sales role to a sales trainer role. So still in sales, but different, going from a sales role to a trainer type role. And she landed this literally within a month by reaching out to her network on LinkedIn and having tons of informational chats. And she's making an amazing salary over than what she expected and what she was making before. So that's something super excited there. So proud of her. Another big win is another client of mine where we really worked on helping build her self-confidence, her presentation skills, and she got a brand new role at the next level from director of finance to VP of finance at a growing startup. And she was headhunted by a recruiter and she's making over 5 figures more than before. So super excited about that. So those are some quick wins there. Let me say some quick hello here. I see a lot of you in the chat room. So amazing. I see a lot of you here. Let me just say hello here. Oh my goodness, this is awesome. We have a great audience today. Hi, Mariana, Kristen. We have Rick from Ontario, and we have John from Denver. Nashroom, hi, great to see you. Hey, Steve from Calgary, great to see you again. Siobhan, hey, long time no talk. Jennifer, Cambridge, great seeing you again. We have Isam from Saudi Arabia. That's amazing. Awesome. Awesome. Oh my gosh, so many of you. Great. Oh, this is going to be a good show today. I know that. It's going to be an amazing show. Hey, Nora, great seeing you as well. Awesome. All right. Continue these comments here. So the topic of today's talk is how to build your brand on LinkedIn, which I'm super jazzed about. I haven't done this talk publicly, and I thought this is a great timing to do this talk on how to build your brand on LinkedIn, especially after yesterday I got recognized as LinkedIn Top Voice. So I thought I would share with you some tips there. So how it's going to work today is I'm going to cover a training session where 3 key areas that I'm going to cover today. Part 1 is how to really make your profile stand out. So I'm going to share with you some quick tips on that. Part 2 is on LinkedIn networking, on how to really grow your network. And then part 3 is around content creation, which I'm going to spend most of my time on because I know this is probably a newer area for a lot of you there. Less than 1% of the people who actually create content on a regular basis. So I thought I would share with you some tips of things that I do to really be able to create an audience there and build my brand. So I want to hear from you. I have a question for you here. I'm curious, on a scale of 1 to 10, How active are you on LinkedIn? So, when I say active, this means that you are networking, you're building your brand, you are creating content. That's on 10. So, type in the comment to let me know on a scale of 1 to 10, how active are you on LinkedIn? And this is something I really want to challenge you. If you are really serious about building your brand this year to really build your network, grow your influence, and generate more opportunities, I want to encourage you to be active on LinkedIn. I really love using this platform because I have met some amazing people, friends, clients on this network here, and I love it. I've been using LinkedIn since 2004. That's when I graduated from university. And in 2009, that's when I really started really actively building my network because I was in a role in recruiting. And 2011, when I was working at Google as a recruiter, I was super active on using the platform to search for talent as well. And then since 2013, I started to really share content. I wrote over 200 blog posts on my website and start sharing it on LinkedIn. And then in 2018, I started creating videos, bite-sized videos using just my iPhone, creating bite-sized videos on topics related to personal branding, networking, and I really enjoyed it. And then since the pandemic in 2020, I decided to step up my game because I really want to help job seekers during this difficult time there. So I've been even more consistent in creating a variety of content from posts of images, videos, to last year starting my live stream show, delivering more long form training there. So that's a little backstory about my LinkedIn journey here. So, all right. So let me see. Let me see how active are you. Let me see. So some of you see 10. Janita, awesome. Hoo-hoo. High five. 10. All right. Susan, 3. A solid 6 here. Chipe, okay. Daily. Who's the daily person here? Show me your name. Michelle, 5. Okay. Kristen, 5. Okay. That's totally okay. Because this is like part of why we're doing this training is by the end of this training, I want to get you up to that 8, 9, or a 10 there. So you are in the right place. All right. All right. Elaine shared not much. Want to do more. Afraid to post and regret. Oh, this is a big one. I hear this a lot from many people. So I'm going to share some tips as well. Okay. All right. Okay, this is good. Thank you for sharing. It's 1 to 10. This is good. Let's get the conversation going. All right, Johan, great seeing you. Oh my God, Johan has been a big, supporter and friend of mine. Go Diana, you're amazing. Thank you. I know we started the hashtag Go Diana whenever we have speakers come on board, and Johan was one of my guest speakers last year. So thank you for cheering me on. I really appreciate that. My friend Jennifer is here as well. Usually a 10 in terms of activity, but lately I feel like becoming in at a 7. I hear you, Jennifer. Even for me this year, last year, just to give you some background, like I was going live every single day, posting every single day. And with the recent lockdown again, I've been taking it easy as well, right? And I've been active, but not like super active where I need to be on like every single day. So I hear you, Jennifer. Would love to catch up with you there. Okay, so I'm going to dive into the training, shall we? Like, I love this activeness. There's a lot of you online with me right now. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so I prepared a presentation here using Prezi. So for those who are new and like this kind of style of presentation, feel free to check out Prezi there. And so I'm going to dive in. So as I mentioned, a little bit about me. I'm a former recruiter turned career coach, speaker, and trainer at My Markability. I recently celebrated 11 years in business. So back in 2011, I was laid off from my job. And within a week, I decided to start my business and really specializing in helping people in career transition and with their job search. And little did I know, within like a month of starting my business, I got hired to Google as their first and only recruiter in Canada to help them double their workforce in a year. And so that was really the launch pad of my business, where I really gained deep insights on what does it really take to differentiate as top talent? How do you really get to that top 2% of that candidate, the top talent there? So that was the launch pad to my business, where now since then, I have worked with thousands of clients one-on-one with over 6,000 hours of one-on-one coaching, helping clients in various industries: tech, consulting, investment banking, accounting, marketing, sales, finance, you name it. I've pretty much worked in all different industries and professions. And in the last several years, I really specialize in working with more seasoned leaders and executives there. So director level and above. And I really enjoy that. It really fulfills me to help people figure out what's their unique value, what makes them stand out, and how to really position themselves for success there. So, yesterday I was named LinkedIn Top Voice in Job Search and Careers for 2022. Was so honored, and along with some of my friends and peers as well, super proud of them there, and thought I would share that with you. And I'm going to share some tips and advice later on as well. Particularly, I'm going to share some of my at the end of the training. I'm going to share with you my content strategy for 2021. What are the lessons learned? And I'm going to share with you some of my top 3 posts that got the most views as well, and what I learned from them there. Now, I'm going to tell you, even right now, I have over 30,000 followers, which is nice. But you know what? A big part for me is really the engagement, like really connecting with people on a more personal level. So I love when people message me. I try my best to respond as soon as possible as well. But I have to tell you, it took me over a year, 14 months to grow to 30,000 followers from 20,000 followers. And it's really through that consistency of quality content there. All right. The other thing is I also been named as one of the top job search experts to follow by JobScan 2 years in a row in 2019 and 2020. And I've also been featured in Forbes, HuffPost, LinkedIn News, and JobScan. For those who are new to my work here, I encourage you to also subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have tons of free training there as well. I was on the LinkedIn Get Hired show twice last year, where I talked about personal branding and on job interviews. Those are two of my 2 areas of specialty there. All right, so enough about me. I'm going to dive into the training. Thank you so much for all the congrats. I'm just looking at the comments here. Thank you so much. Jennifer's like, off to buy Prezi now. Your presentations are always awesome. Thank you. All right, thank you so much. Amazing. This is what I love. I love the interaction. I have to tell you, it's so quiet right now in my office. I even had to tell my son to be a little quiet because he's at home for online school. But I, shut the doors here, and so I can't hear anyone. So a big part of my energy is feeding off all the comments that are coming in. So please continue to comment and let me know what you are learning from this show there. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much for sharing my channel, Jennifer. You rock. And make sure to follow Jennifer Brick. She also has an amazing channel on how to deal with difficult people, toxic bosses in the workplace as well. So check out her channel there. Okay, so let's dive into the training, shall we? So first of all, I'm going to talk about how to stand out to get more opportunities. This is my formula that I've been talking about the last several years on how to stand out. This is really the foundation of a lot of the work that I do in guiding my clients one-on-one to get them to reach the next level in their career or get into new roles or pivot industries there. So number 1 is you really want to increase your marketability. So what I mean by that is your marketability is really around your personal brand. You want to have a great LinkedIn profile, great resume, great elevator pitch. By having this consistency of your messaging and brand, it's going to make you stand out. Number 2 is you want to increase your visibility. So this is really the networking, being active on LinkedIn, participating, commenting. People are going to notice you. Every time you make a comment on someone's post or on your own post, it will get feed to your network. And that's going to keep you top of mind for people in your network for opportunities there. Number 3 is to increase your credibility. So this is really about being seen as that go-to expert, top talent, or where you get referrals, you have great recommendations. That's really going to elevate your game in credibility and getting those opportunities there. Okay, so really being known for something. And then lastly, the 4th is the likability. So this is something I added. The likability piece is really the soft skills. This is really showcasing the warmth, the presence, great communication skills, great relationship building skills. That is really key, especially in a virtual world. Studies have shown that once you progress through your interviews, at first they're looking at the technical skills, the hard skills of your qualifications, but as you move further, they're really looking at, do they like you? Do they trust you? Do they want to work with you? So that is also key to work on. Okay, so you want to increase your markability, visibility, credibility, and likability to stand out and get more opportunities. Okay, so if this is a great value bomb here, type it into chat room as well. This is a formula that you could keep in mind to think about what are the areas that you want to work on. I'm curious to hear from you. Which aspect do you really want to work on this year? Is it the markability piece, the visibility, the credibility, or likability? What is a growth area that you really want to work on this year? Type it in the comment and share that with me there. Okay, so how to build your brand on LinkedIn. So there are three key pillars that I'm going to talk about today, which is one, you want to optimize your profile. You want to make a great first impression where people are like, wow, this is someone I want to get to know. I want to reach out, that I'm impressed by. That's number one. So I'm going to give you some tips on that. Number two is you really want to grow your network. When you grow your network, you're going to meet more people in your second level or third level connection as well. You're going to be able to connect with people easier if you want to get into a certain company there. So that's something to really work on to build your brand. And the third aspect is sharing content, which I believe is probably the hardest thing for most people to do, which is why less than 1% of people on LinkedIn create content on a weekly basis there. So I'm going to dive into this today. Okay. So let me just take a look at the chat room here because I want to engage with you what you want to work on. Joanne said, I want to work on markability. Mariana said, visibility there. Okay. A lot of you, markability, visibility, and markability. Okay, great. Keep these things in mind. Okay. Ernest said, credibility. Okay, good. Thank you for sharing. Let's keep that in mind of what you really want to work on there. Okay, so I'm going to dive into 10 LinkedIn profile optimization tips. Feel free to take notes. If you want to watch the replay, you can just hop onto my YouTube channel later on. I will be adding timestamps to make it easier for you to watch the replay as well. Okay, so tip number one is you want to make sure that your LinkedIn profile is 100% complete. When you have a 100% complete profile, you are 40 times more likely to get found and receive opportunities. So LinkedIn will tell you in terms of your completeness of your profile, whether you're at the all-star level or not. When you reach that all-star level, it's really going to help boost in terms of your searchability as well. So that's tip number one. From my experience as a recruiter, as I've seen millions of LinkedIn profiles as a recruiter, a lot of times, what I see is going to be a bare bones profile. I would say the last several years, I've definitely seen people really upping their game in their LinkedIn profile, especially being more virtual now. I've noticed a huge change. So when I mean bare bones profile, it's like the basics of having your job title, the company name, the bare bone titles, just really basic information that looks like just like a basic like resume there. So I'm curious to know, is your profile currently bare bones or not? If it is, this is your opportunity today to really level it up there. Number two is to have a professional picture. So having a great picture really makes that great first impression, right? Studies show that it takes only 7 seconds to form that first impression. So here, for example, I've used the tool called pfpmaker.com, which I love. I started using it last year. I had professional pictures done, but they were a long time ago. And because with the pandemic, I started taking my own selfies. I would take my own selfies with a background there. And then I would go on this website where they'll have different types of backgrounds that you can choose. You can also then pick your brand color or just keep it simple to like a white background if you like. And so here are just some samples here, and it just really makes your picture pop. Okay, so check that out. By having a professional picture, you're 14 times more likely to get found and receive opportunities, which is huge, right? And so you can either take the pictures yourself doing selfies, like I'll do maybe 100 of them to pick my best one, or find someone to help you take some great pictures there. And then you crop it and upload it to this website to find the one that you like there. I like to download a bunch of them with different backgrounds. You can download it in like a circle format or a square format for different needs there. I find it really useful and it's free. Jennifer said, "Oh my God, I do the same thing with selfies." Yes, I have a bunch of selfies and then I'll click the one that I like as my favorite and then I'll upload it to Canva. All right, amazing. Okay, I love that people here are also networking here as well. Feel free to network with each other. This is a great opportunity by participating in this to network with each other there. Okay, tip number 3 is to have a customized background photo. This is all about branding as well. You want to have a theme and style, right? So I shared with you mine earlier, like my brand color. Can you tell what my brand color is? It's the blue. It's the navy blue with the gold. It used to be like a lighter color blue with the pink, but when I celebrated my 10-year last year, I decided to do a refresh there. That I feel like I'm now a more mature me now. So I wanted like a deeper blue navy color with the gold there. So choose your theme and style, and you can use a tool like Canva to find the right image size. There's actually tons of samples and templates in Canva for that. And then you add in whatever you want here. So as an example here, there's one on the top here. It's probably hard to see, but this is my friend Lorraine Lee. She has over 300,000 followers. She essentially has listed like where she's been featured in terms of the media, over 3,000, 100,000 followers, virtual keynote speaker, and LinkedIn learning instructor. So that's a great credibility piece just by adding those three things there. I had someone else here who listed digital transformation. Very simple. This was a job seeker who just wanted to showcase his brand expertise is in digital transformation, and he found a simple image for that there. I had another client here who was in sales. She found an image and wrote here, helping businesses implement channel strategies to drive revenue growth. So this is like what I call a impact statement or a value prop statement, right? Really talking about the benefits of what you have to offer or the benefits of hiring you there. Okay, so you can have this variety, right? These are just 3 simple samples there. If anyone wants to share some great ones, feel free to share with each other as well. But this is something so very easy to do that could just really elevate your branding image there. Okay, tip number 4 is having a catchy headline. Catchy headline. So by default, if you haven't done anything, it would be your job title and the company that you work at. I'm curious, how many of you have that default right now that it's your job title and the company you work at? If it is, go change it right after this session there. Here's a quick formula of what you can do to have a catchy headline is one, you can have the job title or the profession that you're in, and then you add in 3 keywords that people would use to search, and then you add in a value prop statement there. Okay. And so the reason why I like to recommend this, there's many different ways of doing it, to be honest with you. But I'm also sharing it from a recruiter standpoint, having done recruiting myself of how recruiters search is typically recruiters will search by job title first, right? So if you are, let's say, marketing manager, having like say digital marketing manager in there would be good. And then having 3 other keywords to support that would be good, such as let's say B2B, B2C, online marketing, whatever that is. So here is an example of one of my past clients, Julia. Like she totally revamped her profile after we worked together. So she has senior global brand communications marketer. All right, so you can tell she's in marketing communications. I strategize and bring to life customer-centric marketing experiences that drive business growth. Isn't that a great punchline, right? I strategize and bring to life customer-centric marketing experience that drive business growth. Okay, so it talks about impact. And then there's some keywords here, digital strategy, which is one of her niche. And then she's also a professor of online market research. She also teaches at a school as well. And that's another keyword, online market research. Okay. So play around with this. I want to challenge you to experiment. Like I actually refresh my tagline every quarter or every 6 months. I just refreshed it yesterday as well. And so just play around with it and see, what kind of results you get. I've had a client last week, a couple of weeks ago, she's in analytics. She just made some tweaks that she's an analytics, I forgot all these key analytics professional, and she's been getting recruiters reaching out to her already. I had another client who's in digital transformation, senior level role as well. He also updated and started getting leads as well. I have another friend who is in UX research. He updated his profile and also been getting leads. So just little things like this can make a huge difference there. Okay. Awesome. All right. Great to see you guys are networking with each other. And I see, oh, wow, there's a great audience here right now. At least 70 people on LinkedIn. All right. That's amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Okay. So someone asked how to do on a career and area change. Let me just look at this here. So the question is, if you are looking to pivot, right? If you're looking to pivot to say change careers, change professions, change industries, how do you do that? Great question. Okay. So you still want, so this is a great question. What comes first? Right. So I have a client right now who is in investor relations, right? And she is really interested in pivoting career in more corporate communications. They go hand in hand actually when you actually break it down of the transferable skills and areas. Like she actually still does communications in investor relations. So you can choose either whether to have investor relations to go up front or not, or put corporate communications or external communications or stakeholder communications up front as a keyword, and then put in her background expertise. If you're really looking to make a big change, you can talk about you are pivoting into or aspiring to become XYZ, right? I have a client who recently finished her MBA and wants to get into more a product marketing role. And she talks about her aspiration being a product marketer with those keywords as well. The strategy here is if you're looking to get found and be seen, is you do want to focus more on where are you heading, using keywords are to focus more on where are you heading with a supporting statement of your background expertise of where you're coming from, okay, of the experience that you have. Okay, great question. What if you are not working but are job searching? That's a great question. Well, even if you're not working, it is actually still important to have something like an active status of either with the tagline, but also the job, the title, experience section. You want to have something. Some people put like that's a consultant, a freelance, whatever. It's just to have something that you're active, but you can still put in what you're looking for there. Okay. All right, great questions coming in. So I'm going to move on. Tip number 5 is to have a video cover story. All right, this just came out last year, so just about a year ago, and it's still relatively new. What it is that you can have a 30-second video about you. And this is what I call like you can have your glowing introduction, which is really like your elevator pitch of who you are. You want to have a call to action there, right? So you can check out mine. Mine is a little bit about because I own my own business. I talk about what I do, who I serve, what kind of problems I solve, and then I invite people to book a call with me there. Okay. If you are in the market and you don't mind sharing that you are looking for opportunities, you can put that as well. But to me, what's important here is this is an opportunity to showcase your brand, your personality, a bit of your story, your expertise, and then having that call to action. You want to showcase the warmth and presence where people can really feel you and connect with you as well. So I'm curious to hear from you. Have you done this or is this on your radar? I don't think it's that popular. I've seen people do it. I think people who are really content creators have it. I haven't seen a lot of job seekers do it. But I really believe, especially this year, like 2 years now into the pandemic, video is still going to be hot. And if you really want to stand out and really elevate your brand, having this 30-second video can be a game changer. I know since last year, like at April, May, that's when I actually added on. It really helped me generate more inquiries, more leads, and having these conversations in my DMs messenger there. Okay. So I'm curious to hear, is this something that you plan on doing? It may be hard to start, okay? But what I'm going to challenge you, if you're going to do this, is first really think about who are you writing it for? Like who's the audience you're writing it for? Okay, what do they care about? Then map out your script. Okay, it's only 30 seconds, so usually it's Elaine shared this with me before. Is what every 3 words is about 1 second. Right? So if you want to get to 30 seconds, technically you want to get to like 29 seconds there. 29 times 3 is what? 87 words. 87 to 90 words is your 30-second script there. Okay, so map out your script. If it's longer, that's okay. I had a longer version and I just edit it and cut it out to make it like a 30-second version there. Okay, so map out the script first, rehearse it, practice it, get all like whatever you want dressed up if you like, record yourself. You can literally use your phone to record this, or you can use your computer, whatever you like. It doesn't matter. If you want to go more fancy, like I did, I created the video, edit it, add in a template in Canva so that adds in my brand as well. And then I have a text with a call to action. That's just the next level that you can do there. But you literally can use a simple phone and upload the video. Okay. All right. Okay. Wow. So many questions here. Okay. Let me just check the questions before I move on here. Okay. Elaine said that I'm excited to put one together using your glowing introduction presentation techniques. Amazing. I can't wait to see yours, Elaine. Okay, let me see. I will definitely use this as it will really make me stand out. Game changer. Yes, it will be a game changer. So Betty asked here, is it too pushy for a life coach to present it this way? No, not at all. See, so I can see there's a bit of that fear, like, oh, am I coming across too pushy or not? Think of it, it's really that the intro is showcasing who you are. You're not selling. You're not necessarily selling. You're really just having an invite to say hello. You're saying hello. That's what it really is. It's not too pushy at all. In fact, when you think about it, there are so many life coaches out there. How do you really differentiate? People want to know more about you. I can tell you from my experience, because this past year, I've been doing live streams and it's not easy to do, to be on for an hour and a half, just talking to camera. It's not easy at all, but I know just from my experience that I've had many people reach out to me because they've seen me on camera. They've seen me on the show. They feel like they already know me. So by the time they talk to me for a consult call, they already feel like there's this rapport and trust already. So it just makes it easier to even have that next conversation by having this first video intro there. Okay, great question. All right. It's on my radar to add cover video on ASAP. Yes, let's go. Yes, 30-second is the max length. I don't feel really photogenic, but could try. Okay, Christine. Oh, I recognize you, Christine. How are you doing? Oh my goodness, you are so beautiful. I know this probably could be either imposter syndrome or lack of confidence, but you know what? Give it a first try, right? I know, give it a first try. Maybe get someone to do it with you to give feedback as well. I know it could be awkward at first, right? When you're first doing it, you may sound awkward. So you probably may have to do it a couple tries. If you look at mine, I still remember this because I did it last year in April. I spent the entire morning recording just 4 short 4-minute videos. And I felt like I sounded awkward. So I did it over and over again until I felt like it sounded good enough there. Okay. So, but don't be too hard on yourself. Know that you could redo it if you need to. You can always update it there. Okay. Awesome. Didn't know this feature exists until this moment. Yes, so glad. This is going to be a game changer, I'll tell you that, right? Because when someone clicks on your profile and instantly it would actually, if you have a video, it would play that video. And if you click on it, you'll hear it as well. Okay. So that's something I really encourage you to do. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to move on here. I'm going to look at the comments a little later. I love this participation today here. All right, tip number 6 is the bio summary. So this is the about section. You want to have an authentic bio summary, right? After you have the picture, the background photo and video, that's the top quarter of it, right? That's the first impression to us. If people are curious, you want them to click to learn more, what comes is going to be your about section there. Right. So you really want to have a great bio summary. Traditionally, what I've seen as a former recruiter is it's a really boring, simple statement of a paragraph of 10 years experience in marketing, blah, blah, blah. What I want to encourage you to do, I'm going to give you some tips here, is to really bring more of you into this bio, that it sounds like you. So really humanize it and bring it to life. Okay, so that people can really already feel you just from reading it. Open with a hook, like an interesting statement. For me, my style is I like to ask questions, wondering or want to increase your markability and visibility in 2022 or want to get hired. I ask a question. For some people, they'll start with a statement, a bold statement, a belief statement, whatever that is, to put a stance on it. Share your story and personality. The key here is share more about you. I know from my experience this past year, some of my best performing posts were all through storytelling. So if you can share more about you, it's really going to help you stand out. I had someone last year who I met, a guest on my show. She was telling me how in her bio she talked about a little bit of her background, like growing up on a farm, and that was actually like an opener, like icebreaker when she went for interviews. And that was a great way just to know a little bit more than her just her professional life there. So think about that. How can you really share more about your story and personality? Highlight your assets. So this is really your strengths, your area of expertise, what you're really known for. Essentially, you want to think about also the keywords that recruiters or people will use to search for you there. Okay, and you want to sprinkle it throughout. Okay. That's really key. One of the part of strategy that I talk a lot about is like, what are those core keywords you want to use and sprinkle it from the headline, the bio, the experience section. And to me, what by doing this is the consistency, and you're going to really become more memorable there. Okay. And then lastly, my last tip here is make it audience focused. So even though it's about you, it's not really about you. It's really an opportunity to speak to your ideal audience, clients, employer, really understanding their pain points, their goals, and you want to be able to connect all that together, right? You want to have a balance of showcasing your credibility of your experience and expertise, and you also want to have be able to talk about making solution focus and benefits focus as well. Okay, and this is why some people I've seen that people add testimonials in their bio, or they'll have what else they'll have. They'll talk about the benefits of hiring them, of working with them. That's next level. From my experience as a coach, a lot of times, even I see with clients that I really need to help them work on, it's not just what knowledge, skills, and experience they have. It's be able to look at it holistically and talk about the so what. What does this mean? By having this skill set of yours, what does this really mean to the employer? What does this mean to the buyer there? Okay. And that's what you want to connect there. Okay. So is this resonating? Type in the comment, type in like, this is like valuable, or just type it in there. Tell me if this is something you want to work on, is to really level up your bio summary. Okay. Like this is even before the experience section. Sometimes people may not even have to look at your experience section, and they just look at your bio and see whether they want to connect with you there. Okay. Okay. So I'm just going to take a pause. Look at here. Is do you recommend LinkedIn Premium and Ask? So it really depends, right? With LinkedIn Premium, it does give you more searchability features and stats and data. I would say that if you plan on being more active and you're ready to actively network and to reach out to people, having that will make it easier as well. Okay, so you don't need to do it for like a whole year. Even if you do it for like a couple months, would be a good investment there. Okay. Where do I go place this video? Go into your edit section. I believe you may have to do it in your desktop. I'm not sure if you can do it in your mobile view. Try to do it on the desktop there, under your just profile edit to have that there. Okay. I'm pretty sure, I think everyone should have it by now, that because it's been rolled out for quite some time there. Okay, so I'm moving on there because I want to make sure I get to the content creation tips with you all. All right, tip number 7 is having fascinating features. So the featured section, if you look at the featured section, this is new as well. It just came out also last year. I really like it. It used to be, they have like the media's section there, but this is now on its own with the featured section. It's a great way to build your brand. Essentially, you can put in your top posts or articles, so it makes it easier for people to search for your best content. Testimonials, I just actually added this as well. I don't know why I didn't do it last year. I just put in some of my top recent testimonials from clients in the last several years, and I added to my feature section so people can see that. Awards and recognition, you can also add that there for credibility, or any certificates or courses that you completed, you can also add that in there. Okay, for me in general, I like to use it for adding my best content posts in there, so that makes it easy to search. Sometimes I also use it to forward it off to people like who are asking me questions like, hey, here's a quick tip that I shared earlier. This will be helpful. So this is another, I believe, a game changer, because it also lives just right around where the about section is as well. And so it's a great way just to showcase more of who you are there. Okay. Any of you using this feature section there? Let me just check, take a look. The comments here are on fire today. I love the participation here. Way to go, guys, for participating. All right. Nashroon said, I love this section. Yes. Yes. Yes, LinkedIn Premium could be expensive. I agree. What I recommend is only use it when you really need it. Like technically, even the free version, you can do a lot with it. I think the time when you really want to use it is that when you are looking to, let's say, actively search for people because there is a cap of how many people you can look for it. So having it just for a couple months could be valuable there. Okay. How to squeeze all information within 30 seconds. Oh my goodness. Yes, you can. Go listen to mine. You can get a lot of information in. You really just need to strategize. You need to think of like the template, like what am I trying to convey? You can definitely convey a lot in 30 seconds there. Okay. An example of a call to action statement. So an example would be, if you're interested in learning more, feel free to connect with me. Or if you're interested in learning more about my area of expertise, feel free to connect with me. So just having that call to action, it's just a simple that, like it's just like, connect with me there. That's really part of the call to action. Okay. All right. So moving on is tip number 8. It is interesting experience. So once you have the feature section, the next is the experience section there. So really here is, I would say the most important is your latest one, meaning your current one, the latest one, even if you're not working, is you want to grab attention and you want to be able to highlight your scope of role, of what you've done, give context, showcase your leadership, your accomplishments, and your results. So the key here is you really want to tell a bit of storytelling, right? Some people ask, can I just have what I have in my resume? Technically, you can. You can just have that. But if you want to make it more interesting, more personalized, more humanized as well, you can really add more. You can give a bit of that background story because in a resume you do have a bit of that page limit there. In a LinkedIn, you definitely have more room to elaborate further there. Okay, so make it interesting there. To me, the most important is really your current latest experience and the previous, just the one previous experience there. Okay. Oh, good question. Do I feel like LinkedIn training courses add value? Oh, that's interesting. That, you know what? I've noticed a lot more people add the courses, like courses completion from LinkedIn. I think what's interesting, I mean, this is like depending on how recruiters see it. I think what's good is that it showcases that you are learning and growing, and it showcases what your area of interest is. So, for example, if you're looking to pivot into a new area and you don't have any knowledge in, having that could definitely be a booster. But I wouldn't say it's necessarily the game changer to getting that opportunity. But I think it really helps because it showcases that you are staying relevant there. Oh, I love what Sabrina said here is I just revamped this and made it personable and told more why I like what I do. I love this, right? This is showcasing more of what drives you, what motivates you, right? What fulfills you. Telling more of the why is great because people want to know not just what you've done, but like what gets you up in the day for work there as well. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so let's move on there. Is tip number 9 is to have relevant skills. You want to really think like a recruiter. Identify your top 3 skills because those are the ones that's being featured, and then you can list up to 50. You can get endorsed by them. This section is really to help you with more the searchability piece, right? The reason why there's this section is really to help with the algorithm from a searchability standpoint there. So I recommend keywords that are more, I consider, functional area of expertise than soft skills. So for example, if you're in marketing, having keywords like digital marketing, content marketing, online marketing, uh, digital marketing strategy, marketing planning, those could be good keywords to have there. Okay. I don't recommend using the soft skills like communication, leadership. It's not something typically a recruiter would use to search for there. Okay. Lastly, tip number 10 on the profile piece here is recommendations, because this is going to increase your credibility. Get at least 3 recent recommendations. So for those who have already some older ones, like back in like 10 years ago, I recommend getting some new ones, right? Because it's going to showcase more of your recent of your impact and how people see you. So I do have a habit, like I will ask for recommendations. I have over, I believe, 160 or 170 recommendations. Um, Sometimes after people have heard my talks, I'll send them and ask them for a recommendation, or those who have worked with me, I'll ask them to write a recommendation as well. Okay, so this is a great way to build credibility out there. Okay, it's a social proof. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to move on here because due to time, I'm going to see if there's some quick questions that's relevant to answer here. How much is too much? We're talking about. I receive feedback that my descriptions are overwhelming. So to me, this is the rule of it. Is it skimmable on your mobile? I think that's a great rule of thumb. Is that does people need to like scroll a lot just to see the information there? I think that would be the rule of thumb. And the other thing is that are you writing in a very essay format that it makes it hard to skim? Like I usually recommend just like 2 to 3 lines per paragraph. That makes it more skimmable there. Okay. At the end of the day, people are skimming. Okay. They're not just sitting there just like reading it for a long time there. Okay. Okay. Can you get friends to provide recommendations? Absolutely. People you worked with, people who know you, you can ask them to provide recommendations there. Absolutely there. You know, one of the trick or tip is what I do as well that I've learned and I tell my clients is that make it easy for people to give you a recommendation, meaning give them some guidance, either give them some guiding questions or give them a template to use or give them a sample. By doing that, it's going to make their life easier. You can also let them know what would you like them to highlight about you, right? Or if you have a busy boss, you can maybe draft it for them and get them to approve it and just, copy and paste and tweak it. The goal here is to make it easy. And this is also going to help you with controlling your brand message as well. So as an example, I have 2 formats. One is the questions like, what words would you use to describe Diana? How did Diana help you? What was your experience working with Diana? So these are some questions. Or I would have a template that says, Diana is, so describe qualities of her. After working with Diana, what's the result? Before working with Diana, what was the challenge? So just giving that template, it guides people to really just answering those questions there. Okay, so I hope that tip helps you there. By making it easier, you're more likely to get some more recommendations sooner and more effective ones as well. Okay. All right, so that's it for the profile tips section. To me, this is the basic 101. If you really want to start building your brand on LinkedIn, the first step is to have an awesome, complete LinkedIn profile there. So moving on is some networking tips. I'm going to offer you here 5 networking tips to help you build your brand. So tip number 11 here is to build your network to 500 plus connections. When you get to that 500 plus connections, I would say this gets more interesting where you get either more opportunities, more connections, like more second and third level connections as well. I remember reading somewhere, it's like once you get to the 500 plus as well, I don't know if this is still true, is that it helps with, I think, the algorithm from a searchability standpoint. I think it's showcasing that you're active as well. So having that goal to reach to that 500 is a good place to start if you're just starting out. So my rule here is always be connecting, always be curious, always be cultivating. These are my 3 ABCs to networking there, right? The big part is really asking questions, is to really get curious, to get to know people. It's not just about talking about you, but really getting to know them. Like, what can you do for them? How can you add value? My rule is all about give, give, give before you get there. Tip number 12 is to personalize invites and messages. You want to have things around the purpose, like reason for reaching out. Give an acknowledgement of why are you interested, what you want to acknowledge about their profile, their background, what you admire about them. People always like that, giving that compliment. And then have a call to action. If you're looking to get a meeting or time with them or to ask some question, have a call to action by asking a question. When you ask a question, you're more basically asking people to reply there. Okay. Keep it short and sweet. This is the whole purpose. Keep it short and sweet to have get people to really respond there. Okay. I'm sure many of you have done this as well. I've done it before, is you just send a simple invite. I think it's okay if you know them already, but if you really don't know them, sending a bit of a messaging of why are you reaching out, what you want to hear from them makes it more personalized, and you're more likely to receive a response. I know last year, before I switched it to now that it's about where people can follow me instead of just sending an invite, because I had over like 700 outstanding invites and I didn't have time to really to respond to all of them or accept all of them. And so what I did, I just switched it to for people to follow, but people can still DM me to direct message me. So those who are really serious about connecting with me, they will send me a message versus just an invite to connect there. Okay. So that's just a tip there, is to really have that personalization there. Okay. Yes, someone asked, is this training available as recording? Yes, it will be. You can just either watch on my LinkedIn. If you need to leave, that's okay. You can just go back to this training here, or go to my YouTube channel where I'll be adding timestamps later on there. Okay. Okay, someone asks, is it okay to talk about your personality strengths like compassion? Absolutely. Highlight your strengths of who you are. I love that. I see some people highlight their top 5 strengths from the Gallup Strengths Finder. You can definitely do that there. Okay. Okay, so moving on is tip number, where is it? 13 is to start a dialogue in LinkedIn Messenger. So this is all about really starting that conversation. If you don't know someone, ask these open questions. Really, I just think of like text messaging, right? It doesn't have to be long, like a long essay. It's just really some quick messaging to start the dialogue. And from my experience, I know a lot of people I've met is that's how I start the relationship. Is, they've commented on my post. I'm aware of them, of who they are. We start a dialogue, a conversation in Messenger. And if it sounds like interesting, we're like, okay, do you want to hop on a virtual Zoom call there? Okay. And so that's kind of how that you develop that gradual relationship there. For me these days, it's really hard for me to get on a call with everyone, to just hop on a Zoom call. Like, I really have to set those boundaries. So it's much easier for me to start that conversation first through LinkedIn, because then I can reply any time of the day there. Okay. All right. Tip number 14 is to build relationships. This is all about discovering what you can do for others. Seek to understand, right? By asking questions of what are their goals, what are their challenges, how can I support you? Find common interests, as that's going to build trust and rapport. Okay? Look to add value. You could, simple things. I'll give you an example. Like yesterday, I was talking to one of my friend Emily, who's also LinkedIn top voice, Emily Leal. She was asking me what my goals are, what I'm looking to do. And after I shared with her, she immediately shared with me someone else that I should connect with. And it should be simple things like that, right? Just sharing like, hey, you should connect with this person. Or here's a great article or a podcast that you may be interested in, or that you read a piece of content and share it with people. I do that oftentimes. Like, if I think of an article is relevant to a client, I'll forward it to them and just be like, FYI, thought you might be interested in this. And so little things like that will help build that relationship there. Okay. So I'm curious to hear from you. Have you done anything like this before in terms of how you work on building a relationship by adding value? What are some things that you do to add value? Like, even a simple example, I still remember last summer, I wrote, I think I was on LinkedIn Live, or I did a post. I talked about that I was looking forward to going camping for the first time. And by the way, I did not like camping. But I talked about I was really looking forward to my first camping trip. And someone from my show messaged me afterwards with an article of places to check out to go camping, or things to do, things to bring to go camping. And I still remember to her to this day. I had someone who also messaged me, like, asked me where I'm going camping. And she told me that, she used to camp there and knows like the area inside and out, and I could ask anything. So simple things like that really makes one stand out, right? Because they're not trying to sell you, they're just trying to help you. They're just trying to offer value there. Okay. All right. Lastly, on the networking tip is tip number 15 is engage in people's content. Acknowledge and share meaningful thoughts. So this is a great way, if you're looking to connect with people, is to get on their radar, is if they do share content, is to first comment on their content, acknowledge them, send them a DM. That's how you're really going to get noticed as well, to build those relationships there. Like, I honestly, I think, who was it here earlier? Johan, I don't know if you're still here. Johan like came to some of my webinars back in 2020. And then came to my live streams, did a lot of participation as well. And then we'd start talking in the DM. And then last year I invited him and his wife to my show. And it's just, and then we met up in the summer where I visited them, and it was a great way to deepen that relationship there. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is that these things take time, right? To build this, it takes time. It's not a transaction. It's really a relationship that you need to take time to build there. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So your challenge, here's your challenge today is by the end of the training is I want to challenge you to optimize your LinkedIn profile, build your network to 500 plus connection, and then be active on LinkedIn. Whether it's sharing one piece of content or even I'll give you a challenge, sharing the top 3 things you learned from today's training. You can tag me on it. I will click a like or comment to give you a boost as well. Whatever that is just to start doing something. It could just be sharing that. Okay, so that is your challenge. Are you up for this challenge? Let me know in the comment that I'm up for this challenge or challenge accepted. Type in the comment, challenge accepted. I want to hear those who hear, like if you're taking on this challenge, let me know. This is a great way to hold yourself accountable there. Okay. I'm going to be moving on next to talk about content marketing, content creation. This is like the new piece that I haven't talked much about there. So if you're still sticking around, that's great. I will be talking about 10 steps to creating content. And I'm going to share with you behind the scenes of my 2021 content strategy, the views, what my most popular posts are as well. I'm going to share that with you as well. Okay. All right. I love this. Challenge accepted. I'm seeing it coming through here. Amazing. Amazing. All right. They're coming through. Challenge accepted. Yes. Okay. I love seeing this. Okay. Like this is your challenge, and I want to feel free to message me. Okay. I may not get back right away, but message me. I will love to check it out as well. Like, this is going to be a game changer. If you're really serious about wanting building your brand on LinkedIn to get more opportunities this year, do these couple of things to start. Okay. Awesome. Oh my goodness. I love these coming in. And are there tools to get toppings and posts to LinkedIn? I'm going to talk about that in my next training section here. Okay. All right. Let's rock this. Yes. Right. Let's do it. Amazing. Amazing. Okay. I love this. Great. Love seeing many of you here still. I'm going to move on to the next part of my training, part 3, which is content creation tips. Right. I'm going to walk through the steps because I think this is going to be really valuable for you. And I'm going to share some case studies as well and hope to really inspire you and for you to check out what other people are doing there. Okay. 10 steps to create content. First, I'm going to share with you a case study, which is my friend Lorraine Lee. Lorraine is the editorial director at Prezi, and she is also a top-rated virtual keynote speaker. She used to also work at LinkedIn as well, and she is also a LinkedIn learning instructor. She has over 300,000 followers. And I wanted to feature her because one thing what I really admire about Lorraine is last year, I know that she really also rebranded her profile. She wanted to do more speaking, virtual speaking. So that's where she really highlighted herself as a virtual keynote speaker in the space of videos, virtual presentations, hybrid meetings. That's really her niche there. And obviously, because she works at Prezi, she also uses Prezi videos to deliver her trainings there. And one of the things that we actually caught up the other day is that it really took her years to grow to this following. But one of the key things is really that consistency in really posting content. And recently this year, she launched this tip of the day content, which is really like bite-sized content, a minute to 2 minutes long, a video post, or it could just be a short text post there, right? So really bite-sized content to teach. And that has really helped her to build her brand and getting more virtual speaking opportunities there. Okay, so check her out. Feel free to check out her profile there. She was the one who really got me to using Prezi as well. What was interesting was I commented on someone else's post, Jessica Chan, who is an expert in communications. I commented on her Prezi, and then Lorraine reached out to me about using Prezi for my talks there. So this is how you meet people, right? Like sometimes like that, just being active, and is how you get introduced to maybe like a certain product or tool or tip to help you with whatever you're doing there. Okay, so step number one is to know your purpose. So that's the first step is why are you creating content? What's your goal? Okay. So for some, I know a lot of my audience here are job seekers, career changers, or maybe really want to build their thought leadership on LinkedIn. A goal could be maybe you want to build your thought leadership, be the go-to expert. You want to generate opportunities. That's a great goal to have, right? And just really understanding what's your intention. Is it that you want to create ongoing content, or you just want to create a few pieces of content that will help you increase your marketability? So I know, for example, with the clients I work with, right, especially for those who are in marketing or those who are digital marketers, I tell them like you have to have some sort of presence on LinkedIn, because if you're going to call yourself a digital marketing expert for businesses, but you don't have any presence at all, it's not going to help. And so the goal could be just creating a few articles, a few posts to boost your marketability there. And that's exactly what one of my clients did last year, who was completing his MBA, 10 plus years experience in digital marketing, but has not been active on LinkedIn for years. And so he wrote 3 articles in his area of expertise in digital marketing and did some posts, and he got like a dozen interview opportunities there. Okay, so that could be your goal, is to help you generate opportunities. For me, why I started creating content on LinkedIn many years ago was I really want to share my expertise and to really give back and add value. Like I have a huge value for connecting with people and adding value, and that's why I started it. And by doing that consistently, it has helped me generate leads there. Step number two is to identify your target audience. So this is all about understanding who are you creating this content for, right? That's how you're really going to build a following, is who's your ideal audience? What do they care about? What are their pain points? What are their goals, right? Doing this analysis is really going to help you then brainstorm content later on. Okay, so this is that step, is doing that target audience analysis. Now, some of you may ask me, well, I don't know who my target audience is. Well, this is where you want to do a little brainstorming. Or for those who maybe who are just looking for a job, it could be your audience is your audience is recruiters. It could be hiring managers, right? That could be your audience. And so you want to think about, well, what do they care about? What would they find interesting in an ideal candidate that you can talk about? Right. So that's something that you can do to really just brainstorm that there. Right. To me, this is very important because this is going to impact in terms of your tone of voice, the type of content that you write out there. And so for me, I know because I work a lot with job seekers, career changers, and then the last several years working with people who really want to up even their game on video presentations. I'm able to really map out like what are some of the things that they really care about, what their pain points, and that really influences the type of content that I bring there. Step number three is to identify the top 5 areas you're interested in talking about. So, what do you want to be known for? Right? You can identify those key areas. So, for me, because I also have the content creator mode on, you can identify like your top 5, let's say, hashtags that you like to use. So, for me, it would be personal branding, careers, job search, networking, job interviews. And I think confidence is one as well. And so identify the areas you're interested in talking about, as this is going to help you with brainstorming content. Okay. I actually literally did this exercise over the holidays to help me think of content for 2022 as well. And I created in a tool called Asana, ASANA, which is a project management tool. It's free. And I broke down the different areas of that I want to talk more about, or what I want to be known for. And I just mapped that out there. Okay. So do that. And then from there, is you want to research popular hashtags to use, right? So this is part of doing the research here is you can just do a search, top 100 hashtags on LinkedIn, and you'll get a list and it'll tell you how many people follow that. Or you can just type in a hashtag and the keyword on LinkedIn to identify whether it's a popular hashtag. If it is a hashtag that's relevant to you, you can follow it. You can also see what people are posting to give you ideas as well. But I have a spreadsheet where I have my top hashtags that I like to use in the space of career, job search, motivation, leadership. I have a list of all that. And that's going to really help me to think of the combination of the hashtags I want to use there. There's been a lot of articles that say that, you really only need about 3 hashtags in a post or 5 hashtags. It is up to you. Like some say they've already done studies that 3 to 5 is usually the ideal. Anything more than that is too much there. So feel free to just experiment that to see what works for you there. Okay. Step 5 is to identify your tone of voice and communication style. So this is really important. Like to me, this is part of brand building, right? It's really knowing what is your communication style and your tone of voice. So for me, I know I'm all about being motivational, inspiring, empowering, uplifting, encouraging. These are the words that describe my what I want to represent as a brand. And so the way I write, I like to communicate in a way that is uplifting, that gives words of encouragement. I like to end with some sort of affirmation or give some sort of boost to tell job seekers, like, you got this, own your greatness with confidence to shine. Like I like to add in that. And so that's part of my signature style there. And so you want to really understand that it's going to help you be consistent with the way you write. And that's going to resonate with your audience there. Okay. Is this resonating so far? Type in, is this like helpful or valuable? Like I want to hear that. We're on step 5. We got 5 more steps to go. Right? Is this helpful there so far? Yes, it's helpful. Yeah, feel free to type in that in the chat room there. Okay, so I'm going to give you another case study. So this was my former 2-time client, Max Chan. Feel free to follow him as well. Max started creating content in May 2020. So this is less than 2 years ago. He had about 600 followers, connections back then. And he asked me whether, to start creating content. And he actually, during the pandemic, he volunteered to help job seekers as well. He reviewed people's resumes. I think participated in groups where he provided like interview coaching help as well. And so he decided then to also start his side hustle. He actually has a full-time job in marketing. And I'm really proud of him because he's one of my clients who's just one of those really go-getters. Like he did everything that I said when he first came to me, pivoting from a boutique advertising agency to a big telecom company. And he implemented all that strategies and hired me again a couple of years ago. And so when he decided to essentially start his side hustle as a career coach, resume writer, that's his niche, and I think working with like more the younger professionals there, he really started building his brand by posting content on a daily basis. And I believe when he first started, he was saying he was just experimenting. It's like throwing spaghetti on the wall, just testing what worked. And then eventually he was able to hone in on like really what is it that you really want to talk more about there. And within like less than 2 years, he's built a following from 600 people to 21,000 people, which I'm so proud of him. And he also started his own podcast as well, created his own website, and has now also had like a consistent 4-figure months as a side hustle as a coach and also working full-time there. Okay, so check him out. But what I'm trying to say here is, someone like, like Max, right? Like has a full-time job and decided to do something and build his following, build his brand. I think that's incredible. I feel like right now, especially in today's job market, it's very competitive, but it's also, there is that, I guess, lack of stability as well, right? So if you're looking to start a side hustle, building your brand on LinkedIn is a great way to do that there, right? You can really monetize your expertise, your skill sets and passion as well. Okay, so this is a great example for you to check out. All right, great to hear that this is so valuable. Thank you, Susan. Awesome. Thank you. Great to hear that this is very helpful there. Okay, so moving on is step number 6, is to identify the type of content to create. So now that you brainstorm, right, the different areas of topics, you want to also think of the type of content to create, right? So there's different types such as how-to tips, advice, hacks, right? So this is something I do a lot because this is building your credibility, right? You're building your authority of how-to tips and advice. Second is key lessons or learnings. This is really showcasing more from your own experience or from other people's experience. What are some of those lessons learned? I find this really helpful. Like I find a lot of my audience really resonated last year, especially when I actually started sharing my client wins. I talk about the challenges, the struggles that they face, and what are the lessons learned of how they made a successful transition and pivot. people find that really relatable because they may feel like, okay, well, that's the challenge I'm facing. And these are things that I should be keeping in mind in order to make that jump as well. So that's a great thing to share is like that key lessons learned and learnings there. Third is personal stories. So this is something I started doing a lot more last year in 2021, beginning of this year, the year, is sharing more personal stories. And I found that the posts that perform the best are actually the ones with personal stories. And this is really showcasing more who you are. Not just who you are, but also like your upbringing, your background, some of the challenges that you face. Like one of my most popular posts last year, which I'll share later on, was about how growing up I was not confident, that I didn't speak up that much, and how I had a barrier with like being English as my first second language. I was originally from Hong Kong, moved here when I was 5, and then moved back to Hong Kong when I was when I was 10, and then moved back to Canada on my own when I was 16. So I struggled with fitting in, and I talked about these challenging stories, and it really helped resonate with my audience as well, right? Because I'm not just sharing the highlights, I'm also sharing the struggles as well. And so that's really showcasing more the authenticity and vulnerability there. And so this is something you can really consider doing. And I know it's not easy. I'm not going to tell you that it's easy to do. It's not easy. Okay. Big part of it is our own mindset, what we need to work on, our process in order to be able to really share more of who we are there. Okay. Another type of post is like announcement posts. So this has become pretty popular as well the last few years around announcement posts around like starting a new job or leaving a job or something new, whatever that is, like, an announcements type of post there. Okay. That's an easy thing to do. It's almost like a bit of that promotional type post as well, but it also giving an update to your network so that they know that either you're moving on or you're joining something new there. So for example, like I've seen people where they'll make a post that they are leaving, and they found that it's so helpful that they're able to reconnect with a lot of people that they haven't talked to in a while. And that has also led them to like job interview opportunities, right? Because you're giving an announcement that you're leaving, but you haven't figured out what's next yet. That's exactly what some of my clients have done. Like those who decided to leave before landing a job is doing that, or just privately reaching out to their own network there to generate opportunities. Another is sharing industry news. So this is another way to showcase that you're staying up to date on what's happening in the market. Sharing articles, videos, whatever that is. You can also have a point of view on any relevant articles or news that you read. So that is showcasing your thought process, your critical thinking process as well, which I can tell you that employers do value. They want to know your point of view. They want to know whether you're staying up to date with the trends and challenges, opportunities in the market. Okay, but so by sharing that, is showcasing that you are a learner and that you're staying relevant. Okay. Oh, okay. So I have a question here from Francine here. When you want to share content, LinkedIn gives various options: sharing with group, sharing with connections only. What do you recommend? I don't know. I never get to see the option. I just share with my the connections here. Like I just click post to share, share with connections or sharing it publicly as well, so that anyone can see it. I don't share it with group because sharing with group. Oh, I see. If you're part of a group, a private group, then you're just sharing with that group. You can do that as well. Like I have private groups with our clients or other groups I'm part of, then you're just sharing there. So you just have to ask like, who is this for? Generally, I just share it publicly so that people in my following or outside of my network can still see it as well. Okay, so that you can have a bigger reach. Okay. Awesome. All right. So great. So we're moving on. Step number 7 is to brainstorm a list of topic ideas. You want to sort by category. So you remember how you brainstorm the topics you're interested in? This is now we go deeper in terms of what you want to write about. So I'll give an example. So for me, like this year, I want to write content around career clarity and planning, or like career transition, personal branding, LinkedIn, networking, interviews, salary negotiation, confidence, right? These are different categories of content I want to create. And then from there, what you can do is brainstorm what can you talk about in these areas. So here's what I did. I'm going to see if this will help you guys as well. Like for me, like I will look at what are the common pain points that people are asking me. So then I'll just brainstorm a bunch of stuff and I put it into each category. I'll put it in my Asana. And so it's like a checklist that I'll have. And then what you can also do is look up by hashtag. So for example, let's just say I look up by personal branding on LinkedIn, see what people are posting. to see what's relevant to you as well that you can maybe talk more about. Okay, so that becomes ideas of finding ideas. Or another way you can do this is do a Google search. Do a Google search on these topics, or do a search on, let's say, YouTube channels to get ideas of what are some popular content topics. Okay. And that's then going to help you think about what's my angle, what's my point of view, how do I want to talk about this there. Okay. So I literally did this before end of the year, like this was over the holidays, and I had at least 50 topics or titles that I brainstormed that I have in my Asana now that I can just go look at. If one day I don't know what I'm not want to write about or talk about, I'll look at the list to give me ideas. I also get inspiration from people, like from clients, from questions that people ask me here in my live. Like sometimes I'll write a post just by inspiration as well, or conversation that I'm having. That happens a lot for me as well. So, or if I think about, for example, I was having a conversation with a friend about making a big career pivot. And it really inspired me to write about a recent post on what to consider before deciding to make a career change. So I mapped out, like I did a carousel post of like 7 things to consider there. So you can get inspiration that way of just by having a conversation with people like, hey, this would be great to share some key learnings there. Okay. So this is an exercise worthwhile doing. You can literally spend a couple hours, like an afternoon, to brainstorm. Or you can go by inspiration as well, whatever works for you there. Okay. When you're first starting out, it may be hard, but you may want to first start thinking, hey, what can I talk about in terms of my own story? What can I talk about in terms of best practices in my profession or field? What are some trends that are happening right now in this industry? It could just be those couple type of articles or posts you create to get the ball rolling there. Okay. And then once you get the hang of it, you're going to be able to create more. Okay. Step number 8 is identify your content delivery method. All right. So we talked about what you want to write about. Now we want to talk about how do you want to deliver this? How you want to present it to your audience. And there's many different formats. There's no right or wrong. I want to encourage you, if you're starting out, to experiment it. I've done all sorts. So there's like the plain text, which is like the easiest one to do because you don't have to create anything. You just write and post. A lot of people do that just because it's very, very easy to do. Because I in branding and I love aesthetics and images as well, I choose not to do that route in terms of just plain text of posts. I like to usually add a text with an image. So you see here, for example, it could be an image like a motivational quote, or it could be a quote, or it could be a tip, whatever that is. I usually like to have a combination of that. And then another one that's another next level one is called the slides or carousel. That I find has become more popular the past year. And I found that my content has performed better with some of these carousel documents type of posts are there. And these are, I would say, if you're not, when you're just starting out, it may be hard to do. But if you like to get creative and you're a designer, you can use like Canva to create. It's very beautiful, right? So for example, you can see here, 10 questions to assess your career interests. If you look on my post there, I had like 10 slides of questions to ask. And it's very simple, a question on each slide. And that post generated me leads, right? I had comments, people saying that they liked it because it was like very coaching style like. They can tell that I'm a coach. And it was very simple, where I put together a list of questions. I actually did a similar format of this last year, but I did it only text with an image, a quote on it. And this year I repurposed the content to a carousel post. So I refreshen up that content there. Okay. You can do articles, which is writing long form articles that you have access to on LinkedIn. So usually like 500 to 1,000 words type of articles. That is great because the article format for those, especially if you just want to have a couple articles to showcase your expertise, you can really add that as your feature section in the LinkedIn feature. And it's a great way to showcase your expertise and build that credibility there. Like that's what one of my clients did, was writing 3 articles about digital marketing and had case studies. I had some clients who write case studies, and that helped showcase their critical thinking skills and their point of view there. And then lastly is video. Video is another type of content that you can do. It may be hard for some. So this is where I want to challenge you to think about what's your preference in terms of communication style. To be honest with you, have found it's easier for me to talk on camera than write. Sometimes I find it takes me longer to write. I have gotten better over the years because I've trained myself to do more writing on a daily basis. But sometimes I find it's easier for me to hop on a camera like this to talk than writing. So it's asking yourself, what type of communicator are you there? And from there, experiment that route to see whether that's going to work for you. I've done all of them. This year, I would say I'm doubling down on the carousel type of posts because I want to get creative with that there. I want to do more videos as well. Now, beyond just this long form videos, I want to do more shorter, bite sized videos, 2 to 4 minute long type of videos as well. So that's something I'm going to be doing more of. And then the other is storytelling. Continue to do more storytelling type of posts. Okay, step number 9. We're almost done here. You guys still here? If you're here, type in here that I'm here. Step 9 is block time to create, right? So the key here is setting it as a habit, right? You have to really block time to create, right? It doesn't just happen. Like you really need to block some time to create. So for me, I usually like to create first thing in the morning after I drop off my kids at school, where I have a bit of that downtime before I start my meetings. Or sometimes I may do a bit of brainstorming on the weekends there. Or it could be on my non-coaching days, like on Thursday and Friday, right downtime, that I'll write some content there. And then from there is getting it created, like edited and all that. So for example, a couple of weeks ago, I did 4 videos in, back to back. I did 4 short videos there. And I mapped out like, my topics, what I want to say, what my quick script would be. And then I hit record and that was it. Okay. So you can do block content creation in blocks as well, in batches as well, to save time and to be more efficient. Okay. All right. Still with me? All right. Thank you so much to see Jessica, Sabrina, Susan, Steve. All right. Thank you for being here. What car is still here as well? Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Right. So that's the thing, is creating a habit. I'm going to tell you, it's not going to be easy. It's like anything, right? Like working out, you got to have a routine there as well. So ask yourself, like, what's your cadence? Do I want to create once a week, once a month, every other day, 3 times a week, whatever that is? If you're just starting out, I would say just only do like 1 to 2 times a week. Okay. Maybe that's enough for you. I have some people, I've seen some of my friends right now, they are doing like a LinkedIn sprint, like a 30-day LinkedIn sprint. So they're going to be creating content for 30 days. And that's a great way to become a habit because you are challenging yourself to do a 30-day sprint. In 2018, I did a 10-day, 10 tips video challenge. So for 10 days, I created 10 videos. I didn't post every single day because I was busy actually, with a young baby at home at that time. But I did finish creating all 10 videos. It happened to be over 3 weeks, like 20 days, 21 days or so. And that was really the launch pad of me wanting to create more because I participated in this 10-day video challenge. And I just used an app, the Clips app on my iPhone, where it would generate captions as well, created like a title image, added my logo, and that was it. I just posted it. And it gave me an idea of how much time it took for me if I want to continue to do this. So you can do something like this. You can take on a 10-day challenge, 20-day challenge, or 30-day challenge, whatever that is there. The point here is to get started. And I guarantee you, people will notice. Like I see some of my friends right now on a 30-day sprint. I'll message them. I'm like, I'm really loving what you're posting because it's in my feed. And, I'll comment on it. And that's a great confidence booster, right? Once you start, you're going to be like, okay, all right, I'm getting a hang of this. At the beginning, you're like, no one's paying attention here. And that's okay. I'm going to tell you, even for me, I think 2019, 2020, when I was creating a lot of content, I wasn't getting a lot of likes or whatever. And that's okay though, because I know I'm adding value. And so what I did was then, end of 2020, I also studied other of my friends, like LinkedIn top voices. So what did they do? How do they write? What's their style? And then I bring it to my own, like, what can I do? And part of it is experimenting there to see what's going to work for you. Okay. So last but not least is step number 10 is to know your key messages. So it's so key that when you create content that you need to have a message. You need to have an angle. It's not just writing for the sake of writing. You really need to think about, what's my angle here? Have a point of view. When you have that, it's really going to resonate with your audience. And so, for example, this is like a recent post I did. Like, I had a happiness tip on creating a life you truly want and choose a career that aligns with your ideal lifestyle. So that was like my key message. And I wrote a blurb, a post around that there, right? So I'm really big on that. Like, I really think about, like, what's my hook in terms of opening statement? And I think about, like, what are my key tips I want to provide? What's the story or analogy I want to use to really hone in my message there? So when you have that, like, I just map it out first and then I write, it becomes much easier and you're more focused. You're less likely to ramble as well. This is like the same strategy I teach with clients when I do interview coaching. Is you have to have an angle, have to have a key message so that you can be more effective in communication there. Okay. And I guarantee you, the more you do this, you're going to become better and better at it. So I use Microsoft OneNote to track all my content. I have a tab for like LinkedIn content. And then every time I write a piece of content, I'll add a date and add a title to it, and then I'll start writing. At first, it needs to be brainstorming. I just jot down like whatever it's in my head. I'll just jot it down. And then when I'm serious to really put everything together, I'll just put everything together there. Okay. So that's key here. And another tip that ties into this, I would say, is writing in short, impactful statements. It doesn't have to be long essays. I found, I'll share with you some samples here after this, is that 1 to 2 liner type of paragraphs are very impactful, because think of mobile view. When people are looking mobile, having like a long paragraph, it's not skimmable, right? Having only a couple lines makes it much better for the eye, for the viewer there. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Using very simple type of language there. Okay. All right. Is this helpful? We finished 10 steps on creating content. Feel free to go back to these 10 steps because I know it's a lot. But I hope this provides you a structure and framework on how you can start approaching of content creation. You can really start off by sharing some articles first or commenting on people's content, and then build your cadence up by creating your own content, sharing your own voice there. Okay, so next I want to give you a little case study. This is like my own content analytics from LinkedIn. I pulled this from a tool called Shield Analytics for LinkedIn there. And so these are my stats from 2021, from the entire year of January 1st of 2021 to December 31st of 2021. So this is the dashboard of what it gave me there. Was through my content I had last year, I had 1.345 million views there, right? Over 6,000 comments. Engagement rate was at 2%. 20,000 likes, over 400 shares, meaning other people who viewed it liked it, that they share the content. And I did 333 posts. So out of 365 days, I posted 333 days or 333 times. So that's almost like one a day, not even every other day. It was almost one a day that I was posting. I would say I definitely had a more higher frequency the first 6 months. And then it died down a little bit. I took a little break in the summertime because I really wanted to enjoy the summer there. And I picked things back up in the fall, September timeframe, just because I know that's typically the busiest season in my business. So I was more frequent with content creation there. So this gives you a view of the stats here. Now, I'm not sharing this like to boast or anything. I just want to share to say, okay, to understand of what's possible. Like, I actually didn't even realize like my content reached over 1 million views. So that is incredible. And I think the key here is, as I was looking to further analyzing, understanding the engagement, understanding what posts really drove engagement there. So I'm going to share with you just a few things that I learned that really helped me, that's going to influence my 2022 content strategy this year. So here's some lessons learned from top posts, meaning what I've seen from the top posts. I actually looked at the top 20 posts out of all the 300 that I created. I looked at the top 20 posts that I analyzed. So here's like a summary of it. Is my top views and likes post, meaning the most popular in terms of views and likes. The common theme identified in terms of post, the type of posts, were either personal stories, client wins with lessons learned, and polls. Those are my top 3 type of content. I would say I remember looking at the top 20 posts, personal stories was about 80% of the 20. Okay, but so 15, 16 posts were like personal stories related there, including client wins there in that category, storytelling type of posts. And so this really got me thinking how this is how you really build your brand, right? When you think about it, is that when you are sharing stories or lessons learned from people, it's really unique to you because it's really hard for other people to copy it, right? It's really hard for them to copy that story because no one's going to have the same story as you, right? So that's something I've learned is to really add more of that. Like in 2020, I would say majority of my content was more expert advice, like how-to tips. So it had more like the professional side of me, but it didn't have enough of the personal side of me. And so it did not perform as well, even though it did build credibility. But I don't think that people knew enough about me because I didn't bring enough of that storytelling there. Okay, so that was my big lesson learned in 2021. My top comments and engagement rate post, right? So the most comment and having a high engagement rate were videos, live streams, and like personal pictures. That's a summary of what I like. When I looked at the top type of posts were videos related, live streams, and personal pictures. So I thought this was interesting, right? Here is I want to hear from you guys, like what's resonating with you in terms of your takeaway as you're learning from this. I thought it was interesting because when I didn't look at this data here, like when I just look at LinkedIn, my video type of posts didn't necessarily get the most views, but it had a good engagement and comment. So what the lesson here I want to try to tell here is having great views and likes does not equate to having high engagement. Okay, they don't have to be the same there, right? The reason why live streams have high engagement is because I'm talking to you. I'm asking you to comment as well. I'm engaging with you. And so there is more of that conversation that's happening. So the engagement rate is higher there. Okay. So there's that connection. And so I guess the question is like what matters more? I think it really depends. Like for some, a lot of people talk about the importance of engagement, right? The key here is you want to engage. When you engage, you're really connecting with people on a deeper level, right? And this is why commenting, networking, that's what's really going to build that community there, right? It's not just about the popularity of having a lot of views and likes. And so for me, that lesson here is that, one of the question I had was like, do I continue doing live streams? Right? Do I continue doing live streams? Because reality is, when I look at some of my stats, is that technically my live streams doesn't necessarily have a super high attendance rate, right? It's usually just below 100. And the question is like, is that worth my time there? And then when I look at it, well, it does give a high engagement, and meaning that it is resonating with people. And does it actually help get me leads? It does. Then the question is like, does that matter if I have to have a high view? Right. And so that was a big lesson for me is that I want to still continue doing live streams because it's a great way to connect and engage with people there and to continue doing videos, even though the views may not be high, but people who are watching it, it's hitting home to like the right audience there. Okay. So that's my lesson learned that I want to share with you there. Okay. Thank you for those who are here. If you need to step out, I totally understand. I know it's a long training. I'm going to be wrapping up here soon. I didn't expect to be this long. I think I could have broken down into 3-part trainings on here on how to build your brand on LinkedIn, right? Okay, wrapping up with just 3 of my posts, most popular posts in terms of views. You can see here, you won't be able to read the content. That's okay, but you can maybe search for it later on. Is my number 1 top views post last year had 86,000 views. And this was actually a poll that I did last year in like October. And essentially it says here, my hook headline was, don't let fear hold you back in going after what you really want to do in your career. That was my message here. And so then I talked about how a lot of my clients have pivoted career this past year, haven't met one person who's afraid of making a change. And then I had the word of encouragement, like taking baby steps and tracking your progress. And then I have my words of encouragement. That's my style. Job seekers, you got this. Own your greatness with confidence and shine. And then I had a poll, the question, when it comes to pivoting your career, what's your greatest fear? That was my question to people. And I think it had at least, thousands of people, like over thousands of people participated in the poll. 66% was fear of failure. And so that gave me insights on what can I write more about in terms of, overcoming the fear of failure, right? And that was like an idea for my like upcoming posts around addressing your fears there. Okay. So that was my number one post there. Number two, I'm going to answer questions after this. Okay. For those who are still here, if you have questions, feel free to add in that. I'll answer a couple of questions before I wrap up. Number two, my second most popular view post was over 60,000 views. This was one of my story. This was actually a really hard one for me to write, but I did it and I didn't expect that to get such high engagement. It was like over, I think 1,500 likes and hundreds of comments as well. This was like early last year that I wrote about growing up. I was not confident. I was shy and afraid to speak up. I talked about how when I was 10, moving back to Hong Kong, I dropped a grade because I couldn't even write my Chinese name. And when I was 16, I moved to Canada on my own, where I had to overcome the fear of the culture shock and my shyness and listening to the radio every day to learn English, and had 3 part-time jobs. So I really got vulnerable of sharing the struggles that I face, right? I even wrote that I took grade 13 English 3 times, struggled with writing fiction and reading fiction and having anxiety writing essays. Like, this is all true. And then at my ending of my message here is, because I want to talk about struggles, but a lot of people were commenting. They're like, Diana, you look so confident on camera. You're so, fluid in the way you present and all that. But I really want to show, hey, like, I was not born this way. Like, I actually wrote, I wasn't born speaking confidently on camera. I just practiced a lot and did it over and over again. And that was really my message to people, is that it was hard, a training that I had to do. I struggled a lot, and I knew I wanted to be a speaker and trainer and motivate people. And I had to work on that muscle to be more confident in front of camera. So who is it here? Nashrun put here, as a baby boomer, video is my fear. I get it. I get it. Video is my fear. I totally get that. It's awkward, right? Like, I've been speaking for an hour and a half now in front of a camera with no audience in front of me, but I know there's an audience because I'm looking on LinkedIn on my stats here. There are people still here, right? So I know there's an audience and I need to keep connecting here. And so take baby steps. The key here is, don't put yourself in a situation where you're going to be doing this video for like an hour and a half for the first time. Do bite-sized 1-minute videos, okay? And share your story here, okay? Okay, so my last top view post was an image post, a document at the carousel one that I was telling about, where I shared in December my client wins of the story. And my message here was, plan ahead and do the necessary work to make a career move. And then I talk about my client wins, advice for job seekers. So there's like the lesson learned in there as well. And that really resonated with people. This was right before the Christmas holidays, that generated a lot of great views. And I actually didn't post much for the rest of the 2 weeks over the holidays, because I was, I just want to take some time off as well there. Okay. And so this is just some view that I want to showcase a range, right? I had a poll type of post that did well. I had an image post that did well. And then I had a slide post that did well as well. So my point here is experiment. Experiment to see what performs well for you and your audience, right? If you don't try, you won't know. Okay. So even though I'm giving you all these tips, if you don't try it, you won't know there. Okay. Okay, so I hope this was helpful there, where I covered tips on how to build your brand on LinkedIn by optimizing your profile, building your network, and creating content. So I really challenge you to do all these things, accept that challenge that I gave earlier, to really be active, to generate more opportunities for yourself on LinkedIn. So if you want more free resources, come on over to my website at mymarkability.com/resources, where I have free tips on career clarity, networking, and job interviews. And let's connect. If we're not connected yet, feel free to follow me on LinkedIn, subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Instagram as well, where I share some of my behind the scenes stuff there. So I'm primarily active on LinkedIn. That's where I'm most active in terms of sharing tips and advice. I will be doing more videos this year, where you'll see more videos on YouTube as well. And then Instagram is really my behind the scenes type of work there. Okay. So I hope this was helpful. Let me take a look at the comments here before I wrap up. So I still see an audience here. Thank you for encouraging and supporting us. You are welcome, Susan. Thank you for the great nuggets. Yes, you're welcome, Nashrun. This was my first time listening to you, and it was great. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much, Joanne. Nice meeting you there. Can you share your website on the chat? Yes, I can. Let me just put this there. Let's see. Just shared it as well. I don't know if you see it on LinkedIn because you may have to go to my, I will post it later on. I posted it. Yeah, Restream doesn't connect with LinkedIn when I post stuff. Okay. It's showcasing on my YouTube here, but I will post that. But yeah, it's mymarkability.com. If you just Google that, or you can just type in mymarkability.com to check out my website, or go to my YouTube channel as well. You'll also see those links there. Okay. Great to hear that this was helpful. Thank you for all these helpful tips here. Okay. All right. Let me see if there's any questions here. All right. All right. Thank you so much. Oh, it's late already for some of you. Yeah, eating dinner. You're welcome. Great job working the muscle skills. Okay, so someone asked me, what tips do you have for anyone looking to improve speaking on camera? Oh, great question. You know what? I'm going to run a talk on this, how to improve speaking on camera, but I'll give you some quick tips. So first of all, like to me, like when you're speaking on camera, right, because you don't have an audience, number one is you got to get yourself pumped up and excited. So one of the things that I do before I go on live or video is I get myself in a very calm state, but also at a very good mood and happy state. Like I'll put on happy music, pumped up music. I'll do like my power moves as well. Like really get into that state. Because the thing is that when you're on camera, because we're virtual now, it feels harder to connect with people. So you really need to amplify your energy even further, right? For introverts, this could be really hard, I know. And so it's important to get yourself in that good mood state that you can really amplify your energy. Okay. Number two, to improve your speaking on camera, speak from your heart, not from your head. Right? I used to have scripts. You know, this was like back in the day, over a decade ago, I would have scripts and it would sound very robotic-y, right? So really try to train yourself to speak from your heart, really knowing your key messages there. That's going to be key. And don't be afraid to use body language, right? 93% of your message impact is based on nonverbal, right? Only 7% is based on words. So your eye contact, smile. Smile with your face, right? Showcase that warmth and connection. That's really the key here, right? That's how you're really going to connect. And another one that I work with a lot of my clients on is to have a good pace. So meaning breathe in between sentences, slow down as well, because it takes a bit longer for people to listen to you when they're listening through video as well. Okay. So I hope that was helpful. Thank you for that question. It's a fantastic question. That's an idea for another topic there in my next live stream. It's a very good one. Okay, awesome. This was dense. I love it. I know, I didn't expect this. I was thinking some quick tips and then it turned into like a whole hour and a half training here. First time listener, got some ideas to brighten up my topic, data analytics. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. For those who are new, I really appreciate you there. Let me just check. There was a question earlier on personality for career tests that you recommend over others, Myers-Briggs, DISC. You can direct us to a previous post of yours or YouTube video. Let me see here. You can direct us to previous posts of yours. I don't have a YouTube video or any videos on personality tests, but if you Google Myers-Briggs, DISC, strengths, I like StrengthsFinder, like the Gallup assessment one. I think it's about $20, $30 to do that test. I recommend that. So if you Google Gallup assessment, you'll find that there. That's the favorite one I like to do. Let me see if I can find it quickly and share it. Gallup.com. Yeah. If you go Gallup.com, you'll be able to find that there. I'll just type it in here as well. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. I hope this was helpful. I really enjoyed connecting with many of you today. This was like a really great attendance today. It was jam-packed with valuable information. Feel free to share this with anyone who could benefit from this, who really want to build a brand to generate more opportunities. This is relevant to anyone, whether you're a job seeker or an entrepreneur, or you're just starting out on LinkedIn. It's highly relevant there. So I hope to connect with you next time on my live stream. Just like an announcement, I believe next Thursday, I'm going to be running a live stream where I will be bringing on some LinkedIn top voices from in the careers and job search category of 2022. I've already started connecting with many of them. So I am planning a live stream for next Thursday, February the 3rd. Yeah, on the Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern. So stay tuned for more information. Find out on my LinkedIn. I will be posting that announcement soon. All right. So until next time, thank you so much. Take care and stay safe. Cheers.